I am doing the first four X-Men first: Iceman, Cyclops, Archangel, and Beast. And I know Jean technically showed up alongside them, but seeing as how she could take up a whole video by herself with all of the ways you can do her scaling along with the Phoenix, I would I'm going to save her for way later. So, without further ado, I'll start off with Cyclops, the leader of the X-Men. Speed wise, he's not too shabby. He is capable of reacting to characters on his level, and by that I mean uh, characters on the Spider Man ish superhuman tier of ability, like Beast, being able to shoot his beams, which at its baseline are light speed, as shown by it being able to reflect off of mirrors, even though it should really just shatter it. Um, the beams can be reflected off of most surfaces, as seen here, with Cyclops also being a master at being able to fire off the beam multiple times in a row or just let it rip. But for all those that want some good old fashioned power statements for the beams, they are capable of tearing apart a mountain or pulverizing steel, splitting a small planet, and for some good old fashioned cross scaling, we have the fact that they can wipe out the Wrecker when with Cyclops just again keeping them on, because remember the whole crux of Cyclops' powers is that the visor lets him keep control over them. So uh, so the Wrecker is one of Thor's older villains, with Thor having a baseline being able to destroy planets. So that more so just speaks for, well, the raw power of the glasses. And yes, I know it may seem short for Cyclops, but again, he doesn't really have too much to him. That, aside from the smarter X-Men, Beast. Beast is quite ambidextrous and a acrobat, with him being a skilled enough combatant where he knows pressure point attacks that allow him to land nerve pinches on his foes. He is skilled enough to, when he was more human, being able to fight Kraven the Hunter, someone that scales directly to Spider-Man, and again for that good old cross scaling, because of everything I've gone through before. He should be at bare minimum mountain level as a non-angered Hulk. Was able to hold up a mountain, and a non-angered Hulk was still hurt by the Rhino, with a angered Hulk thrashing around the Rhino. And, well, Beast can certainly handle his own against Kraven, with Beast having, again, enhanced senses, but he still also has a smooth healing factor. Although not as robust as Wolverine's, it can heal scratches from, well, Wolverine. Beast's healing factor can patch up the wound to make it look like it's just a scar, and, well, uh, in terms of overall combat, he is capable of taking on multiple foes at once. And again, just like I said with Cyclops, bare minimum light speed because of the scaling towards Kraven and other superhuman opponents. Now for the Archangel. Warren Worthington has fought a lot of opponents, but most notably X-Force, with him being able to take on Logan, who quite easily, along with other X-Men all at once, which again hints towards him being on the higher end of the ladder, kind of like a certain spider who can one-shot a certain furry animal. But as per what Warren can do, he can slice open people. He mainly fights by swooping down and swiping his opponents down using his blades on his wings. His wings also have been able to adapt to his surroundings for him, being able to sort of go on autopilot when he's asleep or unable to do things. He also is capable of launching his blades, which, by beast standards, along with many others, they are capable of causing paralysis. And the Red Hulk, someone who has, although a lesser version of the Hulk's healing factor, still finds them to, well, make him feel very sleepy. Overall, Archangel, because of his cross scaling to many characters, is bare minimum light speed and uh, well and due to this and well his overall slashing power is able to tear through them. I would say that he's up there with Spider-Man reaching mountain levels. Now over to the X-Men with the most potential. Well, one of the most. Iceman is able to tangle with Spider-Man very early on, along with many other X-Men, being able to keep up with Apocalypse at the least. With him with him evolving over time to become one of the faster X-Men in terms of reaction, being able to block attacks before Polaris could, and being able to encase the Juggernaut before he could even react or shatter his icicle creations, and of which, yes, he can. So there's not even a proportion that Iceman's ice is strong enough to fully encase him. So overall, he has fought people that are on the are on the faster than light range, like the Hulk and Juggernaut, mainly because of cross scaling. But the overall point being that characters like Iceman has learned to evolve over time with his speed, to the point that he can fight characters like the Juggernaut. And as some piece of evidence for this, Quicksilver can easily blitz Spider-Man and many other characters that produce light-based attacks, Iron Man, etc. With Quicksilver being easily taken care of by Thor, and Hulk is one of Thor's contemporary rivals, with the Juggernaut being one of the characters that struggle with the Hulk even still. So, now to get on to some idea for his power and how far it ranges, he can, in terms of generating ice in a single attack, he can create a mountain full of ice. He can even corner off a piece of hell. Although it did cause him to pass out, I would likely say that this is his highest potential. As although it's not, we don't really get a range for like how impressive it is, like the mountain feat. We do get a idea of how good it is based off of other characters being able to pull off energy absorption feats, as well. Energy comes from heat and blah blah blah. Bunch of science terms to essentially get the point across that Iceman absorbs and uh, well, basically the concept of ice is that, along with sub-zero temperatures, is that it's a lack of heat. And what is energy? What is Hellfire and Marvel without, well, heat? So, and Galactus is able to absorb Hellfire, a magical flame and energy, something that affects souls. So, Iceman's ice could theoretically attack not just magic, but also soul based opponents. So, Bleach characters are also in this category of being easily frozen. Uh, Now, as per uh, what he is capable of, he can create giant ice clones, an army of ice clones, one large ice clone that can do a bunch of splash damage, and able to go toe to toe with many mountain busting foes, like, well, like the ones you see on screen, who, which although the ice construct that he did make was falling apart, um, and not on par with all the other mountain busters that can tear down cities and blah blah blah, he still was able to hang in there with them. And just to get an idea that he actually is above these street tier characters and above Archangel, Beast, Cyclops. Unlike them, he's able to make characters on that tier like Iron Fist completely bleed out and unable to do anything. Like Iron Fist by turning the rain into ice. He can also just create a stream of ice for him to fly on. So there's no real need for an ice bridge. He also can uh, rob your molecules of any heat, freezing you from the inside out. He can drop your core temperature to make your body even brittle, even though you don't have any inner organs, essentially countering any rock or metal type opponents. He also can just drop the core temperature of everything around him. He can freeze a bomb in place, stopping it from even going off. He can absorb the ambient heat around him to the point that, well, along with tracking it, that he effectively counters most forms of heat. Although this was one of the few times he was capable of doing this, he did turn his ice into water, uh, and he was, again, this is one of the few times he did do this. He did turn his ice into rain, allowing him to put out the Human Torch. He is capable of creating a thick cloud of fog, well, ice fog, but even still, he is capable of reforming his body into ice, giving him some layer of transmutation. And also, because of that, whenever his body is destroyed, he can more or less reform into any sort of version of ice himself. Even when he has met his match in terms of heat, he is capable of, well, still coming back by just crystallizing the vapor around him. Uh, Even mid battle, he's able to overwhelm his foes with just the sheer amount he can control. And after some time, like with the other future stuff that you would recognize, he was capable of manipulating his body and shape shifting it into a more liquidy type form, being able to rise up and create and turn his hands into blades and create little liquid ice constructs around Rogue, stopping her from using her powers on him. And speaking of, he can turn his hands into spears. He can shoot ice beams, which can somehow affect telepaths. Again, weird, but he did this by changing uh, the way he was looking at things into a more sort of infrared vision, allowing him to track where the telepath was going. Because, well, the telepath wouldn't be looking for it, since, well. And he is also able to, through plant life and other forms of matter, being able to track heat and freeze it at its core. Now, that I've gone through these 4 X-Men, I will cover the Phoenix in the next video. Wanted to say thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification to know when new videos come out. And I will see you next time. Bye.